What's up, everyone? How's everybody doing this evening? I hope everyone's doing well. Tonight, I'm going to be covering a couple things. I'm going to be reviewing the IPv4. Luckily, tonight at work, a friend of mine, he loaned it to me, Phil Grover, loaned me his IPv4 for a couple hours, used it. I'm going to give you guys the pros and cons, A to B, straight everything I loved about it. I didn't get to use the temperature control function, so I can't really give a 100% honest review on the item. But I'll start with that, actually. I'll start with the IPv4. The buttons on it feel incredible. You know, in some of my videos I'm saying, hey, buy a Sigelia no matter what, but at the same time tonight I used the IPv4 buttons and they felt great. The fire button, great, super clicky. I have a really big thing for clicky buttons and I love clicky buttons. The up and down buttons were great. And shout out to Pioneer for their humongous improvement they've made with the IPv4. Just recently picked up an IPv3. I know I'm behind on some things. Picked it up. Loved it. The buttons on it feel really good. They're nice and clicky. Like I'll say again, the battery door. Inconvenient because I necessarily don't want to carry one of these around with me all the time. But at the same time, I can say I feel like with the IPV technology that the firing is more consistent. I'm feeling like I'm getting the same amperage and the same voltage and the same wattage every hit after hit after hit after hit. Where when sometimes I'll be vaping on my Sigelia, like I have my 150 watt right here, I have my Heracles on it, and I'll feel like 165 watt wasn't as strong as the last one. Now, I might be imagining this completely, but at the same time, everybody, if you guys are experiencing this or you guys feel the same way, let me know so I don't go completely crazy, for one. And two, try out the IPv4. You know, I tried, it was a Heracles tank on it. It was my Heracles, and I'm vaping Triple T from Unreal Vapors. And I just want to say another thing is recently, just to clear up any questions or anything like that that anybody has, all my reviews I did priorly were completely unbiased, but as of last week, I am now an employee at the Unreal Vapors in Middletown, Delaware. No, they didn't hire me because I gave them a good review. No, I didn't give them a good review because they hired me or because I wanted them to hire me. So I'm going to squash that bug right now because I know people like to talk and people like to say stupid stuff. And, you know, these videos I might be making people pissed every night, and they might be getting annoyed saying, oh, I'm going to leave the group if this guy keeps posting videos. But you know what? I don't care. I made a general opinion one day. I was just like, hey, how does everyone feel about making videos? And no one said no. So I'm going to keep doing it. I'm going to keep supporting my YouTube channel. And I'm just going to stay solid about it. But back to the IPV. The temperature control function, I did try some one-hit Muffin Man out of a Kanger the other day on his temperature control mode. I love Muffin Man. I don't really know anyone who doesn't love Muffin Man. But at the same time, I have never been somebody to say, hey, I want a sub-tank, a Kanger sub-tank. I don't know why. My dad has two. He has the Plus and the original. I just don't like them. I feel like they throat hit way too hard. And I feel like the vapor production for a sub-tank, especially a .5 coil, is mediocre. Then, the other night, I try his sub-tank on temperature control, and immediately the quality's improved 100%. Granted, the vapor's not thick because I'm not worried about blowing huge clouds when I'm vaping Muffin Man. I'm worried about tasting Muffin Man when I'm vaping Muffin Man. But the consistency was incredible. It was definitely there. The flavor was definitely there. It tasted way better than Muffin Man had ever tasted. I've dripped it, I've tanked it, I've done everything. And it just tasted remarkable. The next thing I'm going to cover is battery preferences and my opinion on some things. There are crazy people that I've heard, and I'm sure I know people that have done it, and they just don't care to admit it, with batteries is always buy brand new batteries. Don't ever buy batteries that you think might be a knockoff, because they probably are a knockoff. And the thing I can cover too is we're in the sub-ohm group. You know, I'm pretty sure everybody in here, I say this a lot, and I might sound like a jackass, but I don't care. A lot of people in here should know, hey, I'm not going to put a Trust Fire in my mech mod. You should know that. If you don't vape and don't blow your face off. Two, only buy batteries from reputable sources. And like a gentleman earlier in the sub-ohm group shared a page where, sorry, my eyes are itchy tonight. I don't know what it is. I think I'm just tired. But that there was a battery page that was selling like 25 hours for $5 and VTCs for $10. And I remember reading recently about the whole controversy saying Sony hasn't made any real batteries in 2 years and everything else is knockoffs. But that's another fish to fry for another day. Because the last thing I want is someone to buy knockoff batteries that they think are Sony VTC4s or 5s, and I'll throw them in a tube mod with a .08 build, and they fire it, and they vent the mod, and they fucking blow their hand off. I can't stress to you how much I don't want to see that. I can tell you guys right now, there is recently a post circulating. People are saying it's happened in Newark. People are saying it happened in New York City. People are saying it happened in Florida, where this guy, they're showing pictures of his face all burnt and charred all up and down his mouth, part of his nose, inside of his mouth. He's all blown through. And they're saying, oh, he was using a vaporizer or an e-cigarette, and it blew up in his hand. First things first, there's a couple things you gotta look at here. Immediately, probably not even 2 hours after the story was published, it was released what the true cause was a suicide attempt with a pistol with a blank round. Obviously, the guy was on suicide watch, and obviously any guns they had around him that they thought were loaded were going to have blanks in them. Please do not pass this propaganda around as vaping problems. It's not realistic. Now, granted, there was about, I want to say 3 or 4 weeks ago, we had an instance, might even be longer than that, I have time problems, but a guy went and was using an Atlantis on like a hybrid mod. I'm guessing like a simple or something like that. And immediate red flag for everyone in the sub-ohm group. What do we not use on hybrid mods? Things with non-adjustable pins, aka tanks. And they're like, oh, well, I took a puff off my e-cigarette, and then it started humming, and then it blew up, and my tank is lodged in my ceiling. Now, you're going to create a short, and you're going to make a battery vent. And personally, I would treat a battery venting as serious as a grenade. Because if you guys want, you can go on YouTube right now. I'm sure everybody's seen it. Just type in 18650 venting. It's not a pretty sight. Now, for my preference, I usually use Samsung 25Rs. I'm thinking about getting some VTC4s. Maybe. I don't know if I can find a good deal on them. I'm cheap, unfortunately, with some things. But 25Rs have served me great. Everyone that I've talked to about 25Rs are great. And they've all been pretty consistent. They've all been one alike with each other. I've always bought in pairs. Never had one that was a dud. And I've bought, I want to say, at least 10 batteries by now. And I've never had one dud, which is huge to me. I don't recommend E-Fests. Some of those are rated at 40 amp or 30 amp batteries, which I think is a complete crock. I know there were rumors of E-Fest just rewrapping batteries, and holy shit, guys, I'm sorry for the language tonight, but I'm feeling a little crazy. But people are cracking open laptops and using the 18650s out of the laptop battery packs. My dad and I broke one open, and for shits and giggles, I took one and I tested the amp rating, 3 amps. And I'm not trying to be rude, but if you put that in a mech mod or a box or anything, you deserve what happens to you. Because, this is the one thing, I get griefed because I buy a lot of clones. I get griefed because I try to cut corners, but I will absolutely not cut corners with battery safety. Because, hey, what are you going to do if you put a lawnmower in your battery in your car? What are you going to do if you put diesel fuel in your gasoline engine or vice versa? It's going to break down, and it's going to cause issues. Now, the last thing I have for everybody tonight is, hopefully soon, our Snow Wolf boxes are going to be shipping. I know everybody has them already now. People are, they're not that great. I can tell you guys, if you want to see a really good review on one so far, go to Twisted420's channel. And he does like a 23-minute review on it. It's stable down to 0.04 or 0.05, which is huge. That can support just about anything. Temperature control up to 70 watts, 200 watt box. And it's only dual 18650. Now, those people with SMY boxes and stuff like that take 3 batteries. And in my opinion, that's a novelty item and it's inconvenient, because who's going to want to just charge 3 batteries all the time? Who has a battery bay that can charge 6 batteries simultaneously? Because I always like to carry an extra set around with me. The fact that there's going to be a 200 watt mod that can run off 2 18650 batteries, and I've heard the battery life on it's killer, is huge. If anybody hasn't researched the Snow Wolf box yet, it's by Asmodus. Same people who are Sigelli, all those brands. Go ahead and give it a look. My only gripe so far about it is the quality of the machining. The steel on it looks great, but the covers are like an iPhone glassy, like smartphone Gorilla Glass kind of cover. And I've heard if you drop it, it's pretty much toast. So, I mean, obviously, I try to be really careful with my mods. I always make sure they're in my little vape cozy thing or my pocket or they're in my hand. But everybody has the possibility of dropping their mod, and I'm pretty sure if someone drops $150 on a mod, they're not going to want to drop it one time and it be toast. But that's all I have for tonight. I want you guys to subscribe to the YouTube channel, please. It's pluggedvape, pvape86@gmail.com. I want you guys to drop in your opinions. If some of you guys like MXJOs, tell me why MXJOs are better than 25Rs and steer me in the right direction. Tell me if you guys got, a half dozen 25Rs and they all busted or they were dead on you when you got them. Tell me about these things. I want to know about this. No one, except for like a select few people, are ever commenting on my videos. I want to get everyone else's opinion. I'm not trying to do this to get YouTube fame or get reputability in the community or anything like that, or to promote Unreal Vapor or anything like that. I'm not trying to do anything like that. I'm doing this solely as a discussion-based, friendly-based Q&A session, kind of. I want to know why you think VTC4s are legit and they have been made in the last 2 years and where your documentation is. I want to have this encouraging conversations with everybody. I want to get everyone's opinion on things. I want you to tell me why the red LGs are the best batteries you've ever used, or hey, I tested the 40 amp E-Fests and they're actually only 18 amp. I want to know about these things so I can pass these on to people and new novice vapors that I encounter on a regular basis. That's all I have. Please subscribe, drop any comments or questions in the box below. Have a good night.